Are you guys sick and tired of that .25 KD? Do you feel like you're struggling to stay alive while Kyle on your team, the random, has 10 kills and he's bragging to you at the end of the game how you're trash and he has 10 kills? Well, we're going to shove it in Kyle's face, okay? Because the problem might not be you. The problem is your settings, okay? Stick around and learn some settings that will make you an all-around better Apex Legends player in Season 3. Let's get right into it. What's good, YouTube? It's Sweat back with another Apex Legends video. Today we're going to be covering a familiar topic on my channel, which is the best console settings. Now, I did make another video at the beginning of Season 2 of all my settings in depth, so we are continuing that tradition and we are starting it off since today is officially the beginning of Season 3. One thing before we start is if you stumble across this video, however you found it, I want you to let me know why you want to become a better Apex Legends player in the comments below. I'm curious to see why you guys are watching this video, whether you're struggling with aim, struggling to get high kills, whatever it may be, let me know in the comments below. Without further ado, let's hop into the best console settings for Apex Legends Season 3 on Xbox and PS4. Alright guys, so we hop right into the settings. I am going to be going through every single one of them in depth. This is going to be like pretty uncut, so I'll just take out the really boring parts where I don't know what's happening or when nothing's going on, and you guys will see everything else, and I'm going to try to explain everything to the best of my ability, so stay with me. Interact prompt style. I used to have this on default, but I feel like compact is cleaner. This is just going to display less information on your screen when you're looking at weapons. I've played the game for so long to where I know what every weapon is, okay? Maybe with the new hop-ups, it might mess me up a bit, but I'm going to keep this on compact. I think it just looks cleaner, and I prefer the style that it pops up in. Button hints, I'm going to have that on. I never have taken that off, so I'm not going to change now. This is very good for new players. If you want to know what certain buttons do on your controller, I recommend keeping that on. Advanced players, you could probably turn this off and it wouldn't make much of a difference. Now this is a good one. Crosshair damage feedback. This is going to show the damage that you do to your opponent, and let's say you have it on off. This is not going to show if they have a shield on or not, so you're just going to get the damage numbers without the shield. The crosshair shows an X on the crosshair. You're going to want to have it on X with icon, because this is going to show the shield icon. This is going to show that they have a shield and what color shield and the damage that is done to that shield. So you definitely, I would recommend keeping that on X with shield icon. Damage numbers is another good one. We're going to want to have that on both. This is a preference one as well as the crosshair damage feedback, but I really recommend, like I said, for the crosshair damage feedback, to have it on the shield one. Damage numbers, not so much. This could be more of a preference one, but I keep it on both. I don't like to add up the numbers on my own, but if that's your type of thing, then you might want to put it on floating or stacking. Just personal preference, I like to keep it on both, so I keep the math simple and I can focus on the fight more than adding up the numbers. Ping opacity, I'm going to keep that on default. I want to know where my teammates are pinging, where my pings are going, and if there's a weapon I need, I want to be able to ping it and exactly where it is, so I'm going to keep that on default. Obituaries, this is totally preference. I have this on. It just shows the player's stats on their loot boxes. Not a big deal at all, whether you want to turn that really up to you. Minimap road, have that off. I want my minimap to stay in one spot so I know exactly where the enemies are. I don't want it to be turning with my body. That's a little too confusing for me. But if that's your style, go for it. I have that off though. Weapon auto cycle on empty. I definitely prefer this one off. I don't know about you guys, but it is really annoying when I run out of ammo and my gun auto switches to the other weapon when it's not reloaded or something. Sometimes I just don't want, and you also keep that off because that can be annoying. Now, auto sprint. I used to have auto sprint on. I know, touchy subject, but on Fortnite, I used to have auto sprint on at all times. But in Apex, I feel like it's a whole different story. I don't want to be running at all times through buildings. Sometimes I just want to be walking very slowly. I don't want to be sprinting at all times, so I'm going to keep this off. This is another one that could be preferenced, but I recommend keeping it off just because you might want to be like slowly creeping around corners and you don't want to be sprinting around the corner, you know what I mean? Incoming damage feedback. I usually have this on 2D and 3D both. I don't know why it was on 3D, but we're just going to keep that right there. It's not that big of a deal. You can keep this on whatever one you want. This is a preference one. It just shows how your damage numbers pop up on your screen. So now we get to streamer mode. I'm just going to keep that off so all the player names are displayed on my screen. I'm not really too worried about who's killing me or who I'm killing. It's not that big of a deal to me, so I'm going to keep that off. Usage sharing, I just have that enabled. Not really too worried about that either. Now we get into some more common questions I get is, do I turn the colorblind on or off? And I have this off. I am not colorblind. I said in my last settings video that this would hurt you more than help you, and I strongly believe that, so I'm going to keep that off. If you are colorblind though, I definitely recommend checking these out and whatever fits your color blindness. I don't really know how that works, but go with whatever works for you. Subtitles I have off. I don't really need to see them. Size doesn't matter. Chat features, that doesn't matter. And voice to chat text I have off as well. I don't really use any of those. So now we're getting into the meat and the potatoes of the video, of course. Okay, this is what everybody wants to see. Let's go through this in depth so you guys can see everything. So first of all, my button layout is on default. I know a lot of people use the button puncher one. That is just not for me. It's easier since I have a scuff controller to use the default. So that is what I am rocking with. My stick layout is going to be on default as well. I don't want any swap sticks or anything. Legacy Southpaw, if you play on that, you're an absolute psychopath. So yeah, anybody let me know in the comments if you play on Legacy Southpaw. I am very curious, but I highly doubt anybody does. Interact reload button, I use that on tap. It just takes too long for me to hold it the whole way through. I just feel like that's annoying, so I am gonna keep that on tap to use and reload. Crouch button is a big one. Okay, I want that on hold because I can bunny hop way easier on console if it's on hold. Now, like I said, I do have a scuff controller. This is going to be a little harder if you don't have a scuff, but it is still very possible with hold crouch button. And I heard it's possible with toggle, but I know it's a lot more difficult, so I'd keep that on hold. Now the aim button, I want that on hold. I've been a Call of Duty player my whole life. I've been holding the trigger down when I want to aim in. If you're a PUBG player on console, then maybe try out toggle, but the hold is the way to go for me. Trigger dead zones, you're gonna want these on none, guys. If you have your trigger dead zone on max and I have mine on none, I'm gonna outgun you 90% of the time because I am shooting way before you. Even if we pull the trigger at the exact same time, you are not gonna get any bullets off until a couple bullets are already out of my gun, because right when I hit the trigger, my gun is gonna shoot. That's what you want. Now we get to look sensitivity, and it's gonna be very similar to my last ones in that I have it on 6, but I did change my ADS sensitivity to 3. Okay, my iron sight optics is gonna be on 3. Now that is just when you pick up a gun, that's the default sight on it. Okay, and then I did raise all the other ones to 4 because I feel like it's a little slower on the 2x, 3x. I really don't use the sniper optics, I'm gonna be honest with you guys, but the 2x and the 3x, it just feels slower to me. So I needed to raise that up to counteract the 3 sensitivity on the iron sights. So that is why it's at that. And there's that. You can look at that if you need to. Take a little screenshot, do whatever. Not that hard to remember though. Now we are on to response curve. I like this on classic. It feels a little slower to me. It slows down the ADS to a perfect sensitivity for me and doesn't like jiggle everything around. When I go on to fine aim, I realize that if I move my right stick even a little bit, it flies all over the place. Now that could be just me. I know a lot of you guys do play on fine aim and high velocity, and that's amazing. Try it out, but it feels really quick to me, so I'm going to keep that on classic. Now my look dead zone is on small. I've honestly never changed this. I probably never will. It just prevents you from swaying if you have an old controller or something like that. So do whatever you want with this one. I'd recommend none or small, and if your sticks are really screwed up, then put it on large. Movement dead zone, I got that on small, same deal. Not too much wrong with my controller, so I'm going to keep that on small. Inverted look, I don't know why you would ever turn this on unless you want to aim up while you're trying to aim down. Doesn't make any sense to me at all, but do whatever you want right there. Vibration off. This is a big one for me. It really messes me up when the controller's vibrating like your girlfriend's bedroom toy. I really don't understand why people like vibration on it. It messes with my whole shot. It just screws everything up for me, so I have that off. And advanced look controls are off. Obviously, we have that 6 sensitivity and 3 ADS as we went over. My brightness is 1 step up from the middle. I don't know why. I've always had it like that, so I'm going to keep it like that. Next up, we have the field of view, guys, and I keep this on 106. This is a little different from my other setting video. I think I had it around 100. I highly recommend keeping it between 90 and 106. And this is because if it's lower than 90, everything is going to look super zoomed in. You're not going to be able to see enough of your surroundings. And higher than 106, everything is going to look like a pebble in the distance. You want to be able to see your enemies from far away. So that is why I keep it in the middle of 90 and 106 again. Sprint view shake now. I have this on minimal. This is huge. You don't want this on normal. You don't want your screen to be shaking all over when you're running. You definitely want to be able to see your surroundings very clearly. So I have this on minimal. Audio, as audio goes, I really don't like hearing the music in the beginning. I don't know why it is so loud, but I don't like hearing dun, 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 every time I drop into the lobby. So that is why that is on 0 master volume. I have that a little lowered. I like to hear the sound effects in the game, gunshots, all that stuff. Dialogue, not so much as important, and the really only dialogue I listen to is Wraith's, to be honest with you, because she tells when people are around her. Lobby music, I have that a little lowered, just my preference. Voice chat off. Convert incoming voice to chat text, that is also off. And that is it for all the settings, guys. As we take a look at my stats, they're not the worst. They got a little worse this season, I'm not going to lie, because I've been going for some gameplays. I've been rushing out into Skulltown, being a jackass. And, you know, that's just what happens with content creators sometimes. They try to get big gameplays, and as you can see, there was a little drop off in KD. It's not the best, it's not the worst, but before this video wraps up, I just want to remind you to hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, and drop a like if any of this information was useful. I hope you all have a wonderful day, and I'll see you in the next one. Good luck in Season 3, guys. Peace out.